Hi, fourth graders. So what I want to work with you today to show you is we're going to start lesson 7.3, which is adding fractions using models. So on page 399, which is what we did in the Hangout, they show you using pictures that are very similar to the tiles that we had in class. And you can think of using a model that way, but another way that I wanted to show you using a model would be if you had a number line. And you can always create a number line to help you with this. So I am going to model for you 1/5 plus 4/5 using a number line. So one of the things I just want to review with you is the number that's on the top of the fraction we call our numerator. The number that's on the bottom of our fraction is called the denominator. Right now, while we are adding and soon subtracting fractions, we're going to continue to use denominators that are the same, okay? Common denominators, because we have not worked on finding common denominators yet. All right. Okay. So I'm going to draw a number line down here, and I'm going to show you on the number line if we start with 0/5, right? 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, right? 5/5, or 1/2, right? 5/5 is 1/2, and 0/5 is 0. Okay, so if I go back to my original fraction, I have 1/5 plus 4/5. So when we add fractions that have the same denominator, we are just keeping that denominator. My answer here is going to be a fifth in fifths, right? Okay, because I have fifths as my denominators there. So all I am doing is adding my numerators, but I want to show you using this model. So if I have 1/5, so if I start with 1/5, right? I have 1/5, and I'm adding 4/5 to that. I'm adding another fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4/5 to that amount. Where am I ending? I'm ending right at 5/5. So if we take 1 and we add 4, we get 5/5, which is also equal to 1/2. So this is another way to model adding fractions with like denominators. I'm going to show you another example. All right. The next example I want to show you is 2/10 plus 4/10. So the first thing I would ask you is what denominator, how many parts are we separating our number line, or what size pieces are we using if you're using the little tiles? We're using tenths, or we're going to break our number line into tenths, 10 equal spots, okay? And you just do your best to make it equal. So if this was 0/10 and this was 10/10, you can kind of think about it like that. Right in the middle would be 5/10, right? And then we'd have 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. So I hope you see how I did that. This one's kind of messed up. That's okay, but using the chubby markers aren't always the best. Okay, so I fractioned off my number line into 10 equal little spots. Okay, and I'm going to start with 2/10. So from 0 to 2/10 is where we begin, right? I have 2/10 here. And then we're going to add 4/10 to that. So 1, 2, 3 4/10, right? I went down, so I started with 2/10, and I added 1, 2, 3, 4 more tenths. So where do I end up? I end up with 6/10, or at 6/10, right? 4 plus 2, or 2 plus 4 is equal to 6, and my denominator is tenths. I'm dealing with tenths. So my denominators don't change when I'm adding, okay? All right, so my final answer would be 6/10. Now, one of the things we did practice was putting our fractions into simplest form, but I'll do that in a separate video. If you had got 6/10 for this answer, I would be very happy. That would be just fine to mark your answer that way. I'm going to do one more example for you. Okay, my last example is 1/4 plus 1/4. Okay, and this is a nice easy one for you. So we're dealing with fourths, so I'm going to separate my number line into 4 equal parts. So if I have 0/4 and 4/4, right in the middle would be 2/4, and I would only have to do one in between each of those to do 3/4 and 1/4. Okay. In my problem, I'm starting with 1/4, and I'm adding one more fourth. So I'm only moving over one more fourth. So I'm ending at 2/4. Again, my denominators don't change. I'm dealing with fourths. I added 1/4 to an existing fourth to get 2/4. And if you left it as 2/4, that would be just fine. If you wanted to reduce it, we will do another video to show us how we are going to reduce to simplest form. All right, so that's all for this lesson. This was 7.3, adding fractions using models. All right, boys and girls, have a great day.